This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Nevada. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of the University of Nevada and Learfield.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Wolfpack All Access presented by Champion Chevrolet. I'm Mike Stephenson, hoping you and yours have had a brilliant and long Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Of course, no breaks for Silver and Blue Sports. We have got plenty of pack content to get to tonight, starting with you-know-what, the season finale for the 2025 Nevada football team, with UNLV invading Mackey Stadium in the battle for the Fremont Cannon. Jeff Choate's second-year squad finding a late-season spark in the form of back-to-back wins. The Wolfpack trying to make it 3 in a row and paint the Fremont Cannon blue for the first time since 2021. Highlights of Nevada and UNLV are delivered by BTX Logistics. For the fourth straight game, a red Fremont Cannon rolling in before kickoff as the Pack tried to send their seniors out in style. And with a big win over their rival, you know who would love it more than anyone, that guy on the left, Chris Alt. But instead, here come the visitors with a quick 75-yard drive in 7th place to start the game. It's Jaden Thomas scampering in. It's a 7-0 UNLV lead. Nevada's defense, stout most of the year, looked pretty good for spurts in this one. They pin the Rebels deep in their own territory, force a big punt, and a short field. Nevada would take advantage and get 3 points. It's 7-3. But the Rebels just a step quicker. When you look up and down this roster, 75 yards, 5 plays in just over 2 minutes. That's Troy O'Meary from Anthony Calandria. 14-3 there. This was big. Pack still within striking distance, but their bell cow running back, Caleb Ramzier, fumbles it in the second quarter. Ball back to the Rebels, and any wind left in the Pack sails, well, it wasn't left for much longer. Calandria, 21-3 is the score there as he keeps it. It was 28-3 at halftime. Tell you what, credit Nevada for sticking with it. Out of that second half, first drive, 2 plays. They go all the way down the field. Not pictured Chubba Purdy with a 58-yard run. Ramzier finishes it with a touchdown. Pack has life. It's 28-10, but again, just no response. And Nevada playing a lot of young guys in the secondary in this one. UNLV took advantage. That's Thomas with his 4th. He had 4 touchdowns in this game, pardon me. Pack trying to get something going, doing it on defense here. Mervyn Kenyon Jr., a happy highlight. He had 2 interceptions in this game. Ramzier would get a late second touchdown, but it was much too little too late. Nevada falls to UNLV as the Cannon stays red, 42-17. Nevada falls to UNLV for the 4th straight season as the Fremont Cannon stays red for another year. The Wolfpack ends the season 3-9 overall, 2-6 within the Mountain West. Later on Wolfpack All Access, Thomas Witte wraps a bow on his long Wolfpack career as he now sets his eyes on the skies. And Wolfpack Men's Hoops spends the holiday in Palm Desert, playing a pair of games at the Acrisure Series. But first, the year's final sit-down chat with Jeff Choate as coach recaps the UNLV game and the season as a whole. That's next on Wolfpack All Access. Champion Chevrolet's Wolfpack All Access resumes as Nevada wraps up the 2025 football season with a tough loss to rival UNLV. Here is our Alex Margulies sitting down with head coach Jeff Choate.
Welcome inside Legacy Hall. Alex Margulies, head coach Jeff Choate, coming off of the final game of the season. How do you want to start, I guess, unpacking that one against UNLV?
Well, we were a little bit nervous going into it without our top 2 corners. And then when our third corner was already starting because Ed had gotten hurt. And so, Bryson Snelling was kind of our third corner. Our 4th corner was Cooper Wilson. Cooper went out in the first quarter, and it was a problem the rest of the game. I mean, we really couldn't play man-to-man at that point. Our call sheet became very limited. Credit them too. They definitely attacked those guys in the back end. That's really not been their MO. They've been much more of a run-heavy team, and I think that once they recognized that we were down some bodies in the secondary, they attacked those weaknesses, and so that's well done on their part. And so that was frustrating. I thought going into it that we would be able to run the ball against this group, and we did pretty effectively, right at 200 yards rushing, But we've got to be able to finish drives, and that's been an Achilles heel for us all year, and that's unfortunate. And we've got to get more explosive plays down the field too. It's hard to matriculate the ball all the way down and not have a negative play or a penalty or whatever. I thought our guys kind of battled through some stuff in the first half, and then we came out and scored on our first drive of the second half. But our inability to slow them down offensively was pretty evident from the jump. And if we were going to have any chance in that game, it was going to have to be kind of go blow for blow, toe for toe, and score for score, and we couldn't match them in that regard.
Off-season officially begins, today. How do you approach, I guess the next couple of weeks, next couple of months? What's kind of on your docket?
Yeah, I think that it's important to really, do kind of a 360-degree review of everything in your program every year, whether that's our nutrition program, our strength conditioning. You look at things like what kind of injuries did you have and why, and what are we doing or not doing in the weight room to mitigate those. And there's always going to kind of be a flavor of the month on that. Clearly, we've got to address some issues on offense. I mean, we were the worst offense in the Mountain West, and if we're not, we're probably going to a bowl game. Whether we beat UNLV or Boise State, we were a good enough team to go in and a knock off of Fresno, knock off of New Mexico, which we were very close to doing, but you can't do that scoring 17.5 points a game. And so that's the main thing right now, right? And I think we've got some really talented young players, and we need to do a good job of developing them, but also retaining them. And I think there's so many things that you have to do now in the off season, and the way the off season is kind of cut up prioritizes what those are in the moment, right? And so right now it's evaluating what we did well, what we didn't do well. I'll meet with all the players. They always have really good, I think, especially the seniors give you great transparency, and they give you some things that that's good. You're right about that. And then those things that you can address. And so getting that intel from them, and then looking at every aspect of this thing and making sure that we can build a better mousetrap.
I guess as you kind of take that 50,000-foot view of your football program right now, what is the mindset going into this offseason about how to close that gap and get closer to some of the teams in the league? Yeah. As you said, you got, in some ways, it'll do a lot of them, I think, closer, but further away from others. Like, where are some of those missions, I guess?
Well, some of that is investment.
You
know? Like, let's be honest. We're not going to be in the same league.
Sure.
I mean, that's part of this is, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, and Boise State are all going to a different league, mm-hmm. right? And so I think that's, we've got to find our footing in this new reconstructed Mountain West Conference. And I think there's some teams that have already kind of stepped to the forefront in terms of their renewed commitment to football and investment in football. And, hopefully that includes us in that mix, which I believe it does. I think our leadership is committed to doing things that we need to do to bring the program back to a place that we want it to be, and playing winning football on a consistent basis, and getting sellouts in Mackey Stadium and things of that nature. And I think that that part of it is the first step, right? Which is, okay, maybe we got to play in a little bit more appropriate sandbox, and then kind of build that foundation brick by brick so that we can go and compete for championships. And then, who knows, in 5 years there might be relegation where, hey, we're here and we win the league and now we go into this league.
Sure.
Which probably wouldn't be a bad system for college football. But in the short run, we got to fix the offense. That's what we got to do. And we've got to be able to score touchdowns. At the end of the day, I think there were, certainly last night we weren't up to the task on defense, but there were some, I think, legitimate reasons for that. And we've just got to continue to build on the foundation that we built in that phase. I thought special teams took a huge stride this year in terms of our productivity. And it didn't, last year there were games that cost us, mm-hmm. right? And this year I think there were games that it helped us win. And that's the objective in that phase.
All right, so now the spotlight fully shifts to Nevada basketball. Coming up, the Pax men take their show to Palm Desert for tournament play. Highlights and reaction are next on Wolfpack All Access.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Acrisure Arena. Nevada just wrapping up play in the two-day Acrisure series, and they will walk away with a split in games against Washington and San Francisco. The Pack dropping the opener to the Huskies on Thanksgiving Day, 83-66, as they had a hard time getting their offense in rhythm, shooting under 40% for the contest. And the Huskies, after a tight game at halftime, would surge in the second half behind 6 from 8 shooting from the outside, walking away with a 17-point victory. Nevada on Friday able to bounce back with an 81-65 win over San Francisco. Corey Camper Jr. dropped 22 points and tallied 6 assists. And the Pack got stellar play from a trio of freshmen. Guard Miles Walker had 7 points. Peyton White had 10 points, including a perfect 2 of 2 from downtown. And Ethan Crowley had a career-high 11 points on 5 of 7 shooting, as the trio combined for 28 points.
I thought our guys really responded. I thought it was 40 minutes of the way we want to play. We had energy, we had enthusiasm, we were playing for one another, not self. And I think you saw that. And, we just did a lot of good things. A low turnover game. I think we averaged 5 turnovers while we were here in this tournament. So we're taking care of the ball. Our defensive efficiency was way better in this game than what it was yesterday. And our offense clicked. We started making some shots. And I've told them that we got to hang our hat at the defensive end, and then the offense will click. That will happen. But and what can you say about, obviously Corey was tremendous. Elijah did some good things. Tayshawn some good things. But those 3 freshmen, that was fun to watch. And for them to respond in a game like this and with the magnitude of what it really meant early in the season, that was really good. Not having Joel and Ethan stepping up was huge. And then I thought Miles and Peyton just gave us a huge lift.
How exciting was that to see those 3 freshmen play early in the game and often and really give your team a huge boost? 28 combined points between those 3.
Well, any coach likes playing the guys that play really hard in practice, and we haven't had that chance because of our depth to really look at those guys in extended minutes. Peyton's had a couple runs, but Ethan is just getting back healthy, and Miles has been 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, and they've worked hard and they've been patient. And now when you produce like this on game, that can steamroll into more minutes and more of a role. And if they can continue that kind of consistency, that's going to really help this team.
I think Miles was maybe your first player off the bench today. Did his run yesterday give you confidence to get him out there early and see what he could do?
Yeah, not just yesterday. There hasn't been a time we've put him out that he hasn't played well and hasn't played hard. And we've told it, the bench is about, can you come in and bring energy and play hard? While the starters are getting a rest, can you increase our level of play? And Miles has just done that from the get-go, and he's worked awfully hard this summer. He's worked awfully hard in practice, and I'm always glad to give somebody that works that hard in practice an opportunity, and he made the most of it in this tournament.
Do you feel like your team had just a different mentality defensively, where they could play the entire game like you wanted them to kind of lock in on that end of the floor?
Yeah, it's always trying to figure out athletes, what their mindset was. Our mindset was way better in this game than yesterday. Did they not believe they could compete against Washington? I don't know. I don't think that was the case, but when you miss so many shots to start a game, we were 11 for 33 yesterday in the paint. That's a lot of missed shots from 12 foot and in. So I think that just messes with you mentally. And when you're hanging your hat on that instead of, can I make a difference defensively, then you have games like we had yesterday. And I thought they just showed a lot of character today in caring more about their teammate and guarding and helping each other.
If there was a next step for your team to take, what do you think that would be?
Consistency. Now we got to put that together against UC San Diego, who's undefeated. We got a monster game on Tuesday, and that's why we're getting out of here and flying back tonight to get rest, because that's a huge non-con game for us on Tuesday against a team that's really playing well, haven't been beaten. They've played a good schedule, and they can really shoot it. So it's going to be another major test for our defense, and we need to start going back to back with defensive performances, and that'll be the test on Tuesday.
Another note here from the desert, Nevada big man Joel Armo-Trading leaving the game early on Thursday after suffering an elbow to the sternum. He would have to sit out almost the entirety of the contest and actually went to the hospital to get x-rays. Fortunately for him and Nevada, those came back negative. Head coach Steve Alford said he should be back pretty shortly. From the Acrisure Series in Palm Desert, California, I'm Alex Margulies. Let's send it back to you guys.
Nevada's men are back inside Lawler Event Center Tuesday night, playing host to UC San Diego. Coming up, one of the pillars of this year's Pac football team is going from chasing quarterbacks to chasing clouds. But first, here is Chris Murray with This Week in Wolfpack History, brought to you by Bradley Drendel and Janae.
On November 29, 2008, the Nevada women's basketball team scored arguably the biggest upset in school history. Playing undefeated and number 7 ranked Louisville in the Nugget Classic, Nevada trailed by double digits in the first half. But the Wolfpack opened the second half on a 10-2 run and eventually secured an 85-83 victory after Delana Kreiner hit 2 game-sealing free throws with 11.8 seconds remaining. A senior point guard, Kreiner tallied 25 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds in the crowning moment of her Hall of Fame career. That game remains Nevada's lone victory over a ranked team in 7 tries. Later that season, Louisville advanced to the national championship game, falling to UConn. But on a November day in Lawler, Nevada proved superior to the Cardinals. This is why you coach, first-year Wolfpack head coach Jane Albright said after the victory. This is why they play the game.
We are back on Champion Chevrolet's Wolfpack All Access. I'm Mike Stephenson. Thomas Witte landed in Reno back in 2020, eventually playing for 3 different Nevada head coaches over his 6 seasons. With his career now complete, he's taking off, quite literally. Shannon Kelly tells us more.
Loyalty means everything to Thomas Witte.
I'm from Anchorage, Alaska. Not a whole lot of, D1 teams go up there and recruit or even give a guy an opportunity. When they took a chance on me, I'm not going to just jump ship when things are going tough.
From joining the Wolfpack as a walk-on in 2020 to becoming a starter on the defensive line and ending his career as a team captain, Witte says he's grateful for his time in silver and blue.
I've had a lot of fun here, I think, and I've met some of my best friends up here, and really honored that I was selected to be a captain. I feel like that was something that I always had kind of in my mind that I wanted to do, was become a leader on this team.
I've seen a lot of maturity in him. The opportunity that he's had to kind of be one of our bell cows has maybe invigorated him a little bit. He's a grinder. He's just like, what needs to be done now, I'll do it.
As Witte's chapter on the gridiron comes to an end, he's soaring into the next one.
I come from a really big aviation family in Alaska, and my uncle would put me in the front seat of his little airplane at like 8 years old with pillows underneath the seat so I can hit the pedals. It's just kind of something that I grew up with and something that I've always loved.
Witte's grandparents started Alaska's first all-cargo airline, and he's been flying on his own since high school.
I soloed an airplane on my 16th birthday, and then just the way the FAA works, you got to have a year, and so I got my license at 17.
His passion for flying has traveled with him to the biggest little city.
I get to fly pretty often, I would say. I've taken a few teammates up for some rides. It's been pretty fun. I mean, from the Stead Airport up to around Tahoe, it's like 15 minutes. So it's like I go up there, take a couple guys in the plane, and just kind of fly around Lake Tahoe and then bring them back.
Witte now has 4 different types of pilot licenses. He most recently obtained his commercial at the Reno Stead Airport ahead of the 2025 season.
All the time that I had off of football, I'd be driving out to the airport and going taking lessons. And so it'd be, either during our lunch break, I'd go out there and fly, or right after practice and our night meetings, I'd go out there and do either flying or ground school. It was a time juggle for sure, but it was really rewarding when I finally got it done.
Witte plans on moving home to Alaska, with hopes of starting his career working for a small air carrier and flying single-engine planes around the state.
To get hired, I needed to gain a little bit more hours in the air, probably about another 100 before I could really start pushing resumes out. So just until then, just trying to stack hours, building hours. I'm going to go and try to become also a flight instructor as well, and so hopefully teach people how to fly to gain hours as well.
For Wolfpack All Access, I'm Shannon Kelly.
All right, so if you find yourself in Alaska, look up and you might see Thomas Witte flying by. Good stuff there, and best of luck to him. All right, we're almost done, but we've got a few more things to get to when Wolfpack All Access continues. We've hit the home stretch here on Wolfpack All Access, and kudos are in store for one pack swimmer and one diver. After a standout showing at last week's Phil Hansel Invitational in Houston, Bailey Hadro was named the Mountain West's Diver of the Week for just the third time this season. She swept the 1 and 3 meter springboard events and hit NCAA qualifying marks in the process. And also for a third time, Moji Fuljamjamris is the conference's Freshman of the Week. She posted 3 NCAA qualifying times in the 200 and 400 individual medley and also the 200 fly, all times that are leading the Mountain West this season. And we wrap things with a quick note from the athletic department, which wants to see you at the men's basketball coaches shows this winter. The first of a dozen live shows from Chicky and Pete's inside the Grand Sierra Resort will be Wednesday the 3rd from 6 to 7. Join the voice of the Wolfpack, John Ramey, along with head coach Steve Alford, and select special guests each week. It also airs on 95.5 and online through the Varsity Network app. For the full schedule, head over to NevadaWolfpack.com. All right, that'll do it for November's final installment of Wolfpack All Access presented by Champion Chevrolet. I'm your boy Mike Stephenson saying so long, friends. We'll see you soon.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.